Reicher Entertainment took the movie away from him during production, and in an act of defiance, Anderson stole a print of his cut, which is legendary, and submitted it to Sundance, where it was chosen over Reicher's version.
Hello, and welcome to the Midnight Matinee Project. My name is Hunter, and I'm joined by my co-host, Isaac. How are we doing, Isaac?
What's up, everybody? I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing so good. It's been a great month of movies.
It has been, but specifically with one person, and we're all here for the Midnight Spotlight, not the movie draft anymore. And that Midnight Spotlight is going to be focusing, as we all know, on the great, the wonderful, the perfect, not as a person, but as a filmmaker, maybe, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yes.
Very excited. I do have a little a question before we get going.
Oh, let's hear it.
Not counting Paul Thomas Anderson, because that might be the answer for this question, or Christopher Nolan when you first started watching him, because those two don't count. Who was the last director that you were watching a movie of and like your jaw just dropped because of the directing? And you're like, wow, like this is now maybe my favorite director. Like, what was the last like jaw-dropping moment you had with a director like that?
That's a really good question. And obviously you take out PTA and take out Christopher Nolan.
Searching for a deep seed right here.
Here's the thing. It's not going to be a deep sea. Gosh, there's so many just really good directors. I think it's hard not just think about Steven Spielberg
100%
in terms of like every movie that he makes.
That's one of the ones I'm
like,
thinking of.
How did he do that?
Yeah, even if like maybe the other things might not be there, but the way that he moves the camera and blocks the scene and does all these amazing things.
Yeah,
it's like, wow, how?
That's good.
Like that was magic on camera.
Obviously, last month was the 50th anniversary of Jaws.
Yeah,
came out. Jaws is insane. It's a crazy movie.
Like how?
I think also up there again. None of these are going to be deep cuts. But I feel similarly about like obviously Tarantino.
Yeah,
is.
But like imagine, obviously Tarantino now. But imagine when he first was coming out. It's like, whoa, who is this guy?
Who is this?
Or like when someone.
I'm still asking who is this guy.
It's honestly a fair question.
Obviously Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
I think like watching even like Red Civil recently, was it last year before Killers of the Flower Moon?
Yeah.
Was just like the whole movie. I'm like, how do you do this? How do you make this movie this good?
Yeah.
And he does.
Yeah. And not to go off on a tangent, but obviously Leonardo DiCaprio, who has now an association with the great PTA.
Yeah.
Did you see his recent quote on who he wants to work with most next?
Was it Marty?
He said Scorsese, and he said after being in the business a long time, paraphrasing, probably going to butcher this, the core of the message was Marty's the best in the business to Leo.
Yeah.
And it's his favorite person to work with. So his goal is to work with Marty again. So credit to you for that poll.
Come on. And I can't wait for the Martin Scorsese biopic, Marty Supreme.
Marty Supreme
coming out
this Christmas, only in theaters. Go see it.
Timothy Chalamet as Martin Scorsese.
Timothy Chalamet is Martin Scorsese. Christmas morning.
Yeah. Do you have any other directors that like stand out to you?
So I asked that question because that was PTA here.
Yeah.
In this run of obviously I've seen a couple movies before this deep dive, but then rewatching and diving deeper into filmography. I'll say this later, but every single time I finished a movie, I asked myself the question, was this the greatest movie? Like, is this the greatest movie ever made? And I kind of said yes every time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because that can't be possible. But that made the top 5, which will be the second half of this episode, really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
The only person that comes to my mind, at least within the past few years, that has been like this to me is David Lynch.
Yeah.
It's in a very different way, obviously, but every single time I finish a David Lynch movie, I ask myself, is this the greatest thing I've ever seen? And yes,
maybe, yeah.
that I would probably say yes.
For sure.
Which is a weird thing to ask yourself because
Is
we
that
see
how
a
you
lot
feel
of
about the
movies.
original Dune?
Yeah, exactly.
Is this the greatest movie I've ever seen?
That is, I am working through David Lynch's filmography, pretty deep in it. He has 10, but I haven't seen Dune yet. I also want to watch all of his movies on DVD,
Yeah.
Blu-ray or 4K.
Blu-ray?
Sorry, Blu-ray.
Blu-ray or foray?
Blu-ray or 4K. Should make that a thing. It's just the entire screen is blue.
Yeah.
Instead of black and white, it's
Yeah, I
blue and
got this
white.
movie in Blu-ray.
Yeah, Blu-ray. In Blu-ray or 4K. Don't want to stream it because the quality is just not there, and David Lynch deserves my respect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I am excited for Dune, but I also know that that is the only time in his career he did not have full creative freedom, and he did not have
The
final cut.
classic excuse for any director.
He did not have
If a
final cut.
movie, if a movie bombs.
He claimed this is a little preview on our my David Lynch deep dive in probably a couple months. He claims the biggest mistake of his career. He admits fully, and he has said firsthand, he feels like he sold out with Dune, for the money. And
is that
in
why
a
you're a
lot
big
of
fan of
ways.
David Lynch? Because he's a
Nope.
sellout?
Nope. He then got back to his roots and then made amazing movies after that and before. But it was the only time he did have final cut, and he learned his mistake. And you know what? A great director.
Oh, he didn't
learns
have
his
Final
mistakes.
Cut? Did he use Adobe Premiere instead? Or
Actually, one of the other ones. He actually was hand cutting it.
I don't think DaVinci Resolve was quite there yet.
Yeah, Da Vinci. Leonardo
He used
da Vinci was
iMovie?
actually dead then. Yeah, he used iMovie. He actually used GarageBand.
That
Yeah,
you don't even have the visual piece. That
I know. It's just
the audio.
Have you never seen Dune?
You've never heard Dune?
Yeah, come on.
It's just an audiobook, basically.
Pretty much.
That's awesome.
Well,
hey, before we, I think, really jump into what we're doing, in case you're wondering, hey, what are they doing? What are they talking about? This is the Midnight Spotlight, where every month, in the middle of the month, we're going to spotlight somebody who makes movies that we admire. So this is our third episode. We're going to alternate kind of getting to choose who we're really going to highlight, and we'll kind of give a brief, maybe not so brief, depending on who's leading it, overview
fair.
of that person's like life and career and how they became who they are. And then we're gonna release just our personal 5 favorite films.
And I want to be clear, because this one, usually I did 5 favorite and 5 best, in my opinion. This top 5 is not the 5 best for me personally. It is very much 5 favorite.
Yeah.
There are going to be better movies that are ranked lower than my higher movies, and I fully admit that.
The better movies are always ranked higher.
I disagree. I fully can admit that it is my favorite, while another movie is probably technically better, and it's someone else. And like,
but it's better to you.
And also, yeah, I also can admit, when every single movie that I watched, I thought it was the greatest movie ever. I fully understand how someone else might be like, oh, that should be number 1. Why is that not higher?
Right. Yeah.
So this is a really tricky one to do.
This comes down to my my sports hot take.
So wrong.
That you hate.
So it's wrong.
Which is that the better team always wins.
I disagree. We're not. We can spend this hour arguing about this. We have spent an hour arguing about this. And on that note,
and if you want to hear more about it, let us know.
Let us know. We'd be happy to record that.
But on that note, you've mentioned, but who are we talking about today, and what do we need to know about him?
Are talking about Paul Thomas Anderson, the writer, director, producer. We're really talking about him because, one, he deserves to be talked about because he's amazing and
so great,
a landmark of today's cinema. We're also talking about him because it's very timely. He's coming out with a new movie that we talked about in our September episode. Check that out. That came out on the 1st.
One battle
after another. There's one, and then there's another one. And then there might be another
battle.
Another battle.
Have you seen all the
news on Twitter? Greatest marketing campaign in the history of movies.
I don't understand the marketing campaign, but somehow it's kind of working.
People are saying that initially people were like, this is terrible.
It's awful.
Now some people are saying they did it intentionally, which I don't think they did. but to really like memeify the marketing campaign so
Yes.
everybody would hear about it.
But which is and we can talk more about this maybe even later, but it's baffling to me that that would be, like, an intentional direction to take with
What a
your marketing campaign of a Paul Thomas Anderson and Leonardo
Mhm.
DiCaprio and Sean Penn movie.
Yeah, because I think like the vibe I get from this movie that we will not talk about here is like it's Paul Thomas Anderson. Obviously, all of his movies kind of break down and do something different,
Mm.
but him going even further. And I think this is going to be from what I've heard so far, and I haven't seen it, the most like blockbustery
Yeah.
movies he's made so
For sure.
far. So I think when you take a blockbuster and you take Paul Thomas Anderson, you combine them. I completely understand how someone has no idea how to market that.
Which is fair.
Which is like, I understand it. It's
Yeah.
disappointing because it could hurt the movie and have an impact on how it debuts and is
Yeah.
down the future. But I do have some empathy for whoever's trying to figure that out because how do you, I wouldn't know how to do
I
that.
don't know at all.
Yeah.
You know who loved the movie, though?
Who?
Steven Spielberg.
I did see that. I did see that.
Loved
If it has his stamp of approval, I'm gonna go see it. If it has Paul Thomas Anderson directing,
Let's start the
Also
Oscar
good, so
campaign now.
let's do it. And let's start the deep dive now.
All right, tell us about PTA,
So,
Parent Teacher Association.
Parent Teacher Association, PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson. We're probably going to be calling him PTA throughout this podcast.
Just Paul.
Or I don't like Paul. I think he deserves more than
Paul Tommy.
Paul Tommy. Paul Tommy Andy?
Pauly Tommy Andy.
Pauly Tommy Andy.
There it is.
There it is. Pauly Tommy Andy, aka PTA, from the sun-drenched San Fernando Valley, where a lot of his movies are set, to the desolate oil fields of early 20th century America, has told us stories wide and far to captivate, challenge, and often surprise. Before he became the filmmaker we know today, he, like a lot of other filmmakers, was just a kid with a camera and a mind brimming with stories. PTA burst into the world on June 26th, one day after my birthday.
Yeah, wow.
Great month. Also, Derek Jeter's birthday.
Who?
Retupact. Retupact.
too bad.
How dare you? June 26th.
He's a biracial angel.
Yeah, should have shot A-Rod. Great movie. June 26th, 1970, right in the heart of Studio City, Los Angeles. Growing up, his household was certainly no stranger to the entertainment world. His mother, I'm sorry, I think it's Edua. Please let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong because I don't want to mispronounce names. Edua was an actress, and his father, Ernie Anderson, great name, was a notable figure in radio and TV. So it comes from a family that is embedded in entertainment.
Yeah.
And also in Los Angeles. So
It's a good place to be if you want to
good
be in
place to be.
entertainment.
This is not going to be a Gary Oldman, Cillian Murphy, our other two deep dives and Midnight Spotlights where they got into something else that eventually brought them to filmmaking. It's pretty clear early on. He was just centralized in this.
So are you saying that PTA is a Nepo baby?
Absolutely not. And you know what? Even if he is.
I don't know. Kind of seems that way.
Ernie, his father, was famously known as the voice of ABC,
Mm-hmm.
a booth announcer who would introduce shows like Now You're Watching the Carol Burnett Show. He also did a lot of other fun stuff. At one point, he did a horror movie critique show.
Yeah.
It's a lot of really, really cool things, and you can understand why the creativeness behind Paul Thomas Anderson. But Paul was the seventh of 9 children,
Oh.
meaning he was part of a bustling, lively family. His father had 5 children from a previous marriage, and then 5 more with Paul's mother. So a widespread family. Also, family is oftentimes a main theme in his movies, whether it's found family or biological family. So it's really interesting how he pulls from his own life there. But it's clear that Paul was immersed in a world where storytelling and performance were a part of daily life. Young PTA's passion for filmmaking began early, as I said earlier, he would constantly borrow his older brother's 8mm camera. I love how old cameras. It's like, it's not your phone. We're talking 8mm. We're talking 35mm if we're going fancy. But he would borrow that to make short movies, doing it simply for fun without any grand plan to becoming a director. He just loved capturing things on film.
Yeah.
Everything changed when his father brought home a home video camera. One of the old clunky videotape models, but it was a game changer nonetheless because it was far cheaper to produce all the things that young Paul wanted to do. I need to stop calling him young Paul. It is just really catchy. Young PTA wanted to do than an 8mm film because you could just go and go and go. Paul immediately declared it was his and not any of his other 9 siblings. And with his newfound freedom to shoot as much as he wanted, he began his filmmaking journey. Now, you might think a prodigious talent like Anderson would sail through film school. Not the case. As many aspects with his life, his path was anything but conventional. Despite getting good grades in high school, he struggled to get into top film schools like USC or NYU due to what he called, quote unquote, bad grades. Those will get you. I know. I don't know if you know, but I know.
What was your high school GPA?
My high school didn't do GPA.
That bad?
That crazy. I went to a New England boarding school, and it was so pretentious.
Yeah.
And I loved my boarding school. I love my high school, but it was so pretentious that it wouldn't give GPAs because it fully believed that the school was not comparable to other high schools. Which I went to public school K through 9 and then went to this boarding school.
Yeah.
I would agree. It was harder than all of my classmates. I did not go to Ivy League. A lot of my classmates went to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Brown, like all these crazy schools.
Holy Cross.
Yeah, all of them would tell you that the high school is harder than high school. High school is harder than college.
Yeah.
So because of that, my high school didn't give GPA. All my friends that went to those schools had really good grades. I did not. So they obviously.
How did colleges know?
You send them your transcript.
Oh, so
they
still
see
got
the
grades.
Yeah, we still got grades.
Oh.
Our school just didn't formulate them into a GPA.
Oh, you could do that yourself, right?
Yes. And this colleges
Give
probably did.
me like an estimate. What was your GPA?
Probably C+.
That's not a GPA, but
I honestly don't know. Like, is C+ would probably be a 2.8? Is that right?
Yeah, probably right around. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.8. Yeah. But I will say in my defense, in public school when I was in high school there, I had never gotten below a flat B on a report card.
Nice.
So going from there to pretty much getting only C's was quite the adjustment.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it was really hard, but it made college really easy.
I was gonna say, how'd you do in college?
Brandeis was easy. I did GPA, 3.2, 3.3, something like that.
Yeah.
I also just unfortunately didn't study. I read books during that time. I didn't read a single book for a class.
Yeah.
So it was all
You
just
should.
kind of making it up as I went. Not a big thesis guy, a big summarizing the plot throughout an 8-page paper guy.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So now that we've established that me and PTA have a lot of similarities academically.
Bad grades.
Bad grades. We've established our credentials. Now we can move on from that. That was good though. He ended up studying literature, another connection we have, for a year at Emerson College. This is the connection, which is in Boston. Actually, at Brandeis, we played Emerson in baseball.
Oh, wow.
A few times, and it was really cool finding that out about PTA. He was a Boston boy for a little bit. But this is a really fun fact. Guess who one of his literature professors was?
Stephen King.
No, David Foster Wallace.
Mary Shelley.
Yes.
One
more author, give it to me.
Christopher Paolini.
Dang it, I thought you were going to say Jane Austen. Anyway.
Edgar Allan Poe.
David Foster Wallace, the legendary author of the notoriously difficult 1,300-page novel, Infinite Jest. You read it?
No.
I did. I didn't.
I only read Harry Potter books.
Yeah, I did not read it. I also have never read Harry Potter.
Yeah, I know. You currently have my copy of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone that I gave to you so that you would read it, and it's been months since I gave it to you. You haven't read it.
Anyway, I don't know what you're talking about. Anderson fondly recalled Wallace helping him with an essay at midnight, which he gave a testament to his professor's generosity because he did, and he made it clear he waited until the last minute to do it. So Dave Foster Wallace, great guy. One takeaway from this, PTA, watch all his movies, Dave Foster Wallace, read his books. He's a great guy. However, Emerson College, the Boston scene, wasn't quite the right fit for his cinematic aspirations. He later got into the NYU Film School and famously dropped out after just how many days? You tell me. 2? Really close. 3.
No, it's 2.
It's 3. Okay.
Agree to disagree.
Okay. We'll lengthen that, but 99% sure it's 3.
Agree to disagree.
Just 3 days. Don't listen to Hunter. His reason? A professor on the first day declared, and this is probably my favorite part about anything Paul Thomas Anderson, if you're here to write Terminator 2, then leave now. Anderson, believing in all forms of cinema, took offense, wondering what if there's a kid here who wants to write Terminator 2. The final straw came with an assignment: write a page of script action without dialogue to reveal a character trait. Paul, PTA, submitted a scene inspired by David Mamet's Homicide, a character using a lit cigarette between his fingers to wake himself up while driving. The image that's in my mind right now of PTA directing that is awesome.
Great.
I now need to see it.
Yeah.
But he received a C+, prompting him to declare, I'm out of here, pal.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Also, it's not like why is Terminator 2 the example used? That's a great movie.
Also, James Cameron.
Right.
One of his better movies. Like, insane. Like, when people think of a great movie, Terminator 2 often is what comes up.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, so I think there was a lot of disagreement there. I don't think Paul Thomas Anderson wanted to write Terminator 2.
Right, yeah.
But he hated the creative restriction
yes.
of you can't write Terminator 2 here.
Yeah.
So he...
and most people just can't
write
from a capability.
Either way. Of like, I think it's a bold name. Like, you want to write Terminator 2? I'd say almost none of us can. So it would be really cool if you could write Terminator.
Also, it's already written.
It is already. Yeah, what an idiot. This professor sucks. Anyway, this early experience solidified his independent spirit, demonstrating his disdain for prescriptive artistic boundaries. And I'd say he does not work with many boundaries, and it's one of my favorite things about him.
Uh-huh.
After leaving NYU, Anderson returned to Los Angeles, great decision, working as a production assistant, but he was constantly creating. His first major short, the Dirk Diggler story.
Dirk Diggler.
Let's go, Dirk Diggler. You know what we're talking about. You know. A half-hour pseudo-documentary shot on videotape was an early test run for what would become his breakthrough feature, Boogie Nights. This short, which explored the rise and fall of a porn actor inspired by real-life figure John Holmes, already showcased themes he'd revisit, such as the idea of a surrogate family and the main character's identity crisis. In a move that perfectly encapsulates his determined, almost audacious personality, a teenage Anderson once literally chased down director Alan Parker's car and threw a VHS copy of the Dirk Diggler story through his window. Insane. I love old stories. I feel like none of that stuff happens anymore.
Yeah.
I love old stories of that. And to make this better, years later, Parker, the director that he threw the videotape in, recounted watching it and thinking it was brilliant, an early sign of Anderson's raw talent.
Yeah.
His second short, Cigarettes and Coffee, in 1993, demonstrated his interest in multi-strand narratives, which comes up obviously early in his career as well with Magnolia, a style inspired by Robert Altman. He pieced together the $20,000 budget from gambling winnings, his girlfriend's credit card, and a $10,000 college fund from his dad. I want to break that down for a second. $20,000 total.
Yeah.
$10,000 from a college fund, half.
Mm-hmm.
His girlfriend's credit card, probably a good amount of that. And I just want to point all this out because I don't think he's very good at gambling, is my guess.
Right.
Because most of that is covered from from the two sources of the credit card and the college fund.
Yeah.
So
But credit card, I mean, it could be 2,000, could be 6.
that's true. Yeah. Also, it was the 90s.
Yeah.
Your credit card limit's
Uh-huh.
probably smaller than what I'm thinking of right now.
Also,
So maybe he's really good at gambling.
is that an option? To take your girlfriend's credit card and
Absolutely, yes. I would say she has to agree to it.
oh, where's my notepad? I gotta write that down.
Let's go. New criteria.
Yeah.
Yeah. But gambling winnings, his girlfriend's credit card, and a college fund from his dad funded his second short with a grand total of $20,000. He even managed to borrow a Panavision camera, which is crazy,
Mhm.
for a weekend from a friend, which he ended up using for 6 weeks. Imagine lending a Panavision camera for a weekend and then not getting it back for 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
It's hilarious. Imagine having a Panavision camera for 6 weeks.
Do a lot with it.
Be awesome. This short, Cigarettes and Coffee, despite a chaotic production, became a sensation on the festival circuit, earning him an invitation to the 1994 Sundance Filmmakers Laboratory. This was the crucial step and launching point where he developed the story for his first feature film, Hard Eight, which released in 1996. Originally titled Sydney. It's a lot of tension and a great story behind it.
Named after Sidney Crosby.
Exactly. Big hockey guy. Paul Thomas Anderson, famously Canadian, as we said.
Can you imagine if PTA directed Miracle?
Oh my gosh, that'd be incredible. I want that right now. Magnolia, a little.
The U.S. probably wouldn't win.
It's very true. Honestly, I don't think the hockey game would have mattered much in a PTA directed Miracle.
There would have been frogs come out of nowhere.
Yeah. What's a famous? There would be moose coming out of nowhere. Canadian. Anyways, Hard Eight was inspired by Anderson's own experiences working at casinos in Reno, which is really, really cool, pulling from his own life, which he often does in his movies, including a rate card scam that he used to make money, which is awesome. Like the scrappiest guy,
Oh, it's great.
which is amazing.
I know. Again, I took notes, and I'm getting ready to go out to go out to Reno, go out to Vegas, and
Come back with $20,000.
because surely a scam that was put in a movie,
Yeah.
30 years ago,
Will still work.
still works today.
I have no qualms with that. Absolutely. At just 24, he secured a $3 million budget. Again, crazy. And an impressive cast, including Philip Baker Hall,
Mm-hmm.
John C. Reilly, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Samuel L. Jackson. How?
Which is nuts. Yeah.
But it wasn't easy. Reicher Entertainment took the movie away from him during production. And in an act of defiance, Anderson stole a print of his cut, which is legendary, and submitted it to Sundance, where it was chosen over Reicher's version. Imagine being a director, having your film taken away from you after production, stealing a copy of yours because you have so much faith in it, and submitting it to Sundance, and you actually winning.
It's awesome.
Guy's a legend. The studio did relent, giving him final cut back, but the title, the studio changed the title from Sydney to Hard Eight, which we now know, a name PTA detested, thinking it sounded like a porno.
Yeah.
Now, saying that,
Which is kind of funny.
kind of funny, what was his next movie?
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights, which is about a porn actor.
Yeah.
Wahlberg, Dirk Diggler.
Dirk Diggler.
This experience, there is a direct connection. This experience, the frustration of him having his work almost taken from him, fueled his next project, Boogie Nights. He channeled that energy into what would become his explosive breakthrough in 1997 when Boogie Nights was released. This film was a bold, non-moralistic portrayal of the porn industry's golden age. Interestingly, Leonardo DiCaprio, Leo, the guy that he is now working with on One Battle After Another, was Anderson's first choice for the lead role of Dirk Diggler. Would have been a completely different movie, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Leo would have been awesome.
Leo versus Mark Wahlberg.
But yeah, a completely different Dirk. But Leo famously turned it down to star in Titanic. James Cameron, probably, I'd say, not the right decision, because I'm sure Leo would have been great no matter what, but he would have had a very different career trajectory.
Probably,
At that point, Leo was not the Leo we know today. Titanic made Leo,
Yeah.
the Leo we know today. So it's really interesting thinking of like that one choice.
Plus the, Romeo and Juliet that Leo,
Of course, yeah,
acted in, that
of
I'm gonna
course.
bring up in and as many podcast episodes as possibly can until you watch it.
And you know what? I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Anyway, he chose Titanic over Boogie Nights, but he recommended Mark Wahlberg to PTA. And Wahlberg, who was a rising star at this time, took the role only after ensuring that Anderson wasn't just casting him to be in his underwear, which is really funny and sounds like Mark Wahlberg at this point in his life was Dirk Diggler.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, you just want me for my underwear.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who's to say? Anyway, Boogie Nights brought its own share of behind the scenes drama. The late Hollywood icon Burt Reynolds, who played the porn director Jack Horner, reportedly hated the film and Anderson's finished product, even firing his agent after seeing it. There are even stories of Reynolds punching Anderson on set. And in another quirky detail that speaks to the wild energy on set, Mark Wahlberg once got into a heated argument with John C. Reilly during filming, escalating to a marshmallow fight that ended with Riley
Oh,
walking.
that's cute.
It is cute. It sounds way more cute than it probably was, but it's really funny that marshmallows were chosen. Um, but it ended with Riley walking off set after being hit in the forehead with a marshmallow. Wahlberg even once crashed a car into a telephone pole for a deleted scene without informing the stunt coordinator, leading to pretty justifiable anger
Yeah.
from everyone on set. So very quick, crazy second production on a feature film for PTA, but he worked through it and gave us a classic. Now, Paul Thomas Anderson, as we need to know, is a true master of his craft, and his career as a whole highlights an incredible evolution of style and thematic depth. He's an artist who, while often described as a closed book about his approach, which kind of brings me back to someone like Stanley Kubrick, extremely personal on his set and does not want to give a lot away about how he approaches something, is known for his actor-centric methodology, which I think comes through in a lot of his movies, adapting his workflow and style to suit their creative choices. And there's just a lot of trust between everybody on set with him. He values good writing, trusts his actors, and offers direction only when necessary, believing that actors are some of the most talented people in the industry. He's even known for unconventional techniques like having actors perform dialogue-free takes, sometimes using these charades in the final cut, as he did in Licorice Pizza with Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, Cooper Hoffman, who's in The Long Walk right now and obviously starred in Licorice Pizza. He's obsessed with the imperfections and nuances of the real thing. Sometimes engineering moments like swapping gas cans or having an actor expect a kiss, but get a slap to capture raw authenticity. He tries, in my guess, because I've never been on set with PTA and also don't know him personally, he tries to remove acting as much as possible and let the actors be as authentic as possible as they can and put them in situations that will help them be authentic, which is really, really cool. And I think commands trust from actors and PTA, and there has to be a mutual trust there. But looking at his impressive filmography, several key themes and stylistic hallmarks emerge. These include recurring collaborators. So obviously he has a company of actors that he loves to work with, including Philip Seymour Hoffman, Daniel Day-Lewis. People like to say he's the greatest actor ever, and I won't disagree. Even his wife, Maya Rudolph, inspired Phantom Thread and appeared in Licorice Pizza. She also appeared in Inherent Vice, and she has her own wonderful career, as many of you will know. So there is an evolution of his directing style, as all directors have. His early works like Boogie Nights and Magnolia clearly echo, as many say, Martin Scorsese's influence and their constant moving cameras, rock and roll soundtracks, and ensemble cast with quick edits. But with films later in his filmography, like There Will Be Blood and The Master, his style shifted, becoming more formal, patient, more uh, with slower tracking shots, natural lighting, and greater focus on static camera angles, drawing comparisons to Stanley Kubrick, which again, I think there's definitely some similarities there from me not knowing him. However, his use of long and uninterrupted takes is what really, really stands out, and his use of deep focus cinematography remains a constant, averaging, so this is really crazy. There's his average seconds per shot, and then the industry modern average seconds per shot. The industry modern average is 2.5 seconds per shot, which is so crazy and kind of depressing. His average is 13 seconds,
Wow.
which is almost 6 times the modern average.
Yeah.
And it stands out in his films and is what makes some of them so amazing. Now, he also uses music really well and as a narrative force, and it obviously sticks out so much. His longtime collaboration with composer Johnny Greenwood has been pivotal, with Greenwood often involved from the very beginning, which is very unique in Hollywood and making films. Typically, composers are brought in at the end during post, and they have to scramble in a month and a couple months to weeks to figure out a score. But music is planned from the beginning with BTA, and I think it clearly stands out. Now, going into his filmography before we get into the top 5, we're going to do a quick run through so we know what's on the table. So we have Heart 8, his debut, Boogie Nights, which we already covered, Magnolia, which is the ambitious, sprawling ensemble drama set in the San Fernando Valley, where he's from, weaving together multiple interconnected storylines of regret and redemption. Tom Cruise personally requested a role after Boogie Nights' success, which is really cool. Then we have Punch Drunk Love in 2002, the direct follow-up to Magnolia, which I think is the greatest thing ever. There Will Be Blood in 2007. Many consider his greatest masterpiece. Also, many consider the greatest film about America. Many consider the greatest film since the year 2000. The Master, follow-up to There Will Be Blood in 2012. Inherent Vice in 2014. Shout out Joaquin Phoenix. Phantom Thread, another collaboration with Daniel Day-Lewis in 2017. And then Licorice Pizza in 2021, not including One Battle After Another in 2025. And that is our deep dive on Paul Thomas Anderson. Thank you for sticking with us. I know it was probably long, but I loved every second of digging into him. And I think it makes learning about him makes so much sense after watching his movies.
Yeah.
There's so much. I think one thing that's very important in filmmaking is making it personal, especially specifically like when a director makes a movie personal. You can feel whether it's personal or not while watching a movie.
Yeah.
Every single one of his movies, you feel that it is personal.
Yeah.
You feel him in the movie, even if you don't know the stuff about him.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you just know that someone like this movie is someone, which is really fantastic, really amazing, and I think is one of the things that makes him truly special. But that's it.
Come on.
Let's go.
I love it. Great overview of just an interesting career for a director that should be talked about more.
The most under talked about great director in our time.
Yeah, for sure.
I say after going through his filmography, I have no problem putting him up there with Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. So here's a question. Where does he rank for you in terms of
All-time directors?
all-time directors?
It's a 1A, 1B situation. I don't know which one's 1A, 1B. I'm just going to go just 1A, both of them. So it goes probably David Lynch and Paul Thomas Anderson are 1 and 1. And then 2 is probably Christopher Nolan.
Wow.
I think this deep dive, Christopher Nolan still holds the title for my favorite movie ever.
Yeah.
Which is Interstellar.
Yep.
I also saw a great tweet. Something along the lines of, if you saying your favorite movie is Interstellar is like saying your favorite painting is like the Mona Lisa. And like all the comments were like, it kind of makes sense because you can't really argue it if someone says that. He's like, yeah, it's amazing, but it's also kind of just at this point basic. And I'll say it's been my favorite movie since 2014, but I do understand that it is the most safe pick.
And I think I disagree with the comparison. Interstellar is not the Mona Lisa of movies.
A lot of people agreed. It is the #1 movie on Letterboxd with the #1 fan favorite movie of it is the most often appearing in top 4s out of any movie in Letterboxd. So I think it is a modern, like, it's not the greatest movie ever,
For sure.
but it is personally connecting and a favorite. So it's not the best, but it is the most people's favorite movie.
And that's where I would disagree with the Mona Lisa comparison, because the Mona Lisa is more viewed as not anyone's favorite.
Okay.
It's more so the technical, like, aspects of that painting make it
That's
the
fair.
best painting that people
That's fair.
recognize.
And I forget what exact comparison. I don't know if it's a Mona Lisa.
But whatever it is, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Interstellar sucks. I'm just kidding. I do like Interstellar. Oh, did I also? This is a kind of fun little thing about Interstellar. Do you know our mutual friend, coworker, Becca just watched Interstellar for the first time?
That's insane. I did not know that.
Do you want to know where she watched it?
If you say a plane,
She watched it on a plane.
I'm never talking
On the
to her
plane to
again.
France.
Becca, I'm never talking to you again. Never talking to you again. Oh, that makes me so angry. Oh gosh, that makes me
on a
so.
little tiny screen.
I'm gonna take
Hold on, it gets worse. Because guess what headphones she used?
the airplane headphones,
But not ones that she got that day on the plane.
like old airplane
Like
headphones.
old airplane headphones.
I've never been more disappointed in someone in my life. Ah, you think you know someone.
You think you know someone, and then they go and do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, that's disappointing.
But anyway, back to obviously you got PTA. Yeah, at the
PTA,
top.
yes,
with David Lynch.
Also, just want to ask you, who's your favorite director?
The top 3, and the order just changes depending on probably what my most recent
Mhm.
watched movie is probably Spielberg, Nolan, and Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
Those are my 3 favorites.
Yeah. Makes sense. I love Spielberg.
And George Lucas.
Of course. Yeah. But obviously just Star Wars and his first movie,
American Graffiti.
American Graffiti. Yeah. Yeah. Those, I guess, the only ones we're talking about.
Yeah.
Not even all the Star Wars. He wanted to give up directing.
Yeah,
Just
the best directors are the ones that hate it.
Fair.
Also, I feel like, oh man, you gotta take Jim Cameron
Yeah.
up there
he's great too. Yeah.
Av-
You know what?
Avatar comes out this year. I'm so excited.
So excited.
But yeah, PTA I think like deserves to be in that like top director conversation.
Fair. Yeah. I would say like Terrence Malick, amazing.
Mhm.
Just his visual style is unparalleled.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of great directors out
Maybe
there.
we'll do an episode where we just debate director versus director.
Absolutely.
That'd be fun.
Let's do it.
Great.
100%.
Um,
And I think it might be time for the top 5.
let's talk about our 5 favorites out of the 9 that he has.
Out of the 9 that he has, 5 favorites.
Yeah.
So we're defining this as our personal favorites. You might think that your 5 favorites are the 5 best in order.
My favorites are the 5 best to me.
Yeah. I would say in my mind, do separate my favorite from the best. And I do think there's a delineation between the best and the favorite in my list.
All right. Well, let's
dig in.
Let's get to it.
You want to kick us off?
Yeah. And if
Also,
we
quick rule,
yeah.
if a movie is brought up in an earlier round, so in the 5th, 4th, 3rd round, and the other person has that movie higher, we're going to wait until the higher movie is mentioned
Yeah.
to talk about it, and we'll both talk about it.
Yeah, talk about what I like it. Great. Well, my my 5th favorite PTA movie is Boogie Nights.
Let's go. Okay, please talk about it. Isn't
Not in your top
I
5?
know, I know.
Oh.
I told you before we started recording, you're going to be shocked at my top
man.
5. I loved, so to be clear, every single movie I watched of Paul Thomas Anderson received 5 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
And every single one, I was like, oh, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen.
Yes.
So any movie that's not in my top 5, I want it to be known still a masterpiece, still amazing.
Uh-huh.
But I had to make some cuts somewhere, and it was some of the greatest camera movement I've ever seen in my life.
That's
But
wonderful.
the other movies spoke a little bit more to me.
Yeah.
But not taking anything away from Boogie Nights.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll talk about Boogie Nights then. And obviously,
hop into
obviously, you've shared a lot about the movie itself, some of the story behind it, especially with Burt Reynolds and obviously Leo and Mark. But this movie, I think, is so I think visually pleasing.
Yes.
Of like, I think the color of this movie is great. I think a lot of the framing and blocking of the camera movements is just like you watching. You're like, how are they doing this? This is awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of long takes.
Yes.
Um,
The intro scene.
Oh, yeah.
The opening scene,
Yes, the opening scene is just phenomenal.
maybe the greatest opening scene ever.
And it's funny because it's like it's such if you just and even if you're listening to this and you haven't seen this or haven't heard about it, you maybe even hear us talking about Boogie Nights, you're like, "What kind of a movie are they talking about?"
Yeah.
Because it's like you take the story of the movie,
Mhm.
and it's like, "Oh, that's kinda weird."
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Mark Wahlberg is this basically, like, just young man who gets discovered, by this, like, porn director,
Ye
and then he gets brought into this world.
Ye
But one thing, and you mentioned this just a little bit earlier that I really enjoy about this movie, and one of I think my favorite themes in movies in general is the idea of your found family,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
They being different than just
Yep.
the family that you are born with,
Yep.
and we get to see for Dirk Diggler,
Mhm.
so Mark Wahlberg's character uh, the challenges that he has at home,
Mhm.
with his family,
Yep.
especially between him and his mom,
Mhm.
versus like this whole new world where he is, not only like accepted, but
Mhm.
he's like almost revered,
Mhm.
and partly because he's physically endowed. In
One way
the
to put it.
movie, I feel like it's the best way to put it.
Yep.
But also like he's being given like opportunities. He's
Mhm.
been giving like honestly a lot of trust
Mhm.
from like Burt Reynolds' character,
Yeah.
and Julianne Moore, um, and it's I think just thematically it's really just fun to get to
Mhm.
see. But I think like you mentioned this too with how long PTA's like shots and scenes are.
Mhm.
I think having the camera longer on somebody is when you really get to actually see the real, like, authentic emotion,
Yeah.
that comes out.
Yeah.
I, am not a movie maker, but I, like, have done a lot of videography work and,
Mhm.
like, videography projects, and that is one thing that, like, I've gotten to learn is that, like, man, if you can just hold that camera longer on somebody,
Mhm.
like, you're gonna see so much.
Mhm.
You're gonna get so much out of it, and I think you get a lot of that out of, Boogie Nights. I really enjoy it.
100%. Honestly, not much there to add. I'd say I'll just call it one specific scene of at, Burt Reynolds' character's house earlier in the movie, at one of the first parties, there's a long take that takes you around the house and then into the pool and out of the pool, and it is just like I was watching it, and I just the only thing was like, "How?"
Right.
I think, like, I forget what director said this, but, someone asked a very famous director, "How did you learn your craft, and how do you did you learn how to direct really well?" And he said, "Great movies are amazing because they're great movies, but for a learning experience, they mean nothing to me because how am I supposed to replicate something that's already amazing? Of like, that's someone's individual take, and like, it's just amazing because I just ask myself, how do they do that?"
Yeah.
Where he learns from is the bad movies of like, how do I make this better? But
Mm.
something that's already perfect, like a lot of shots in Boogie Nights,
Yeah.
it's like you just sit there like shell shocked,
Mhm.
being like, how did he do that?
Yeah.
Kind of feels like a magic trick.
Yeah.
Which John C. Reilly, amazing magician in that movie.
A great magician in that movie, and I'll say, the one thing I maybe not a big fan of Don Cheadle in that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Doesn't float my boat.
fair. I kind of enjoyed him, but that's fair.
He's wild.
He is wild. He is wild. Insane.
I just don't think I understand Don Cheadle,
That's
like,
fair.
as a person
That's fair. Yeah.
and as
Yeah,
an
some
actor.
people are, yeah, specific enough to where you every time they're on screen, you get a certain
I
emotion.
don't know, like, what is I feel about the same way about him in, Oceans.
Okay, yeah, fair. That's fair. I think I liked him more here than in Oceans, but that's fair. Right. Well, Boogie Nights,
That's my
amazing
5th
pick.
favorite, yeah.
I love that. I also don't know if you're gonna have this movie in your top 5, so we might be clear to talk about it. My 5th pick and my 5th favorite is Phantom Thread.
No,
Okay,
please.
there we go. So far, 2 non-similarities. Phantom Thread came out in 2017. Daniel Day-Lewis, it was his, pretty sure his last movie before he entered retirement
Mhm.
that he recently just broke.
Yes.
He's just so good.
Yeah.
Him and PTA
Mm.
together are just every time it's going to be a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I think the movie fairly divisive out of PTA movies that are divisive. I think like some people don't like it. It's definitely pretty dark.
Yeah.
Not very happy or positive, but I think maybe my favorite production and art design out of any movie I've seen that I can
Oh,
remember.
it's stunning.
It is I've never been brought into a world more authentically
Mhm.
than that, but it just was incredible, and then PTA working within that world was a sight to behold.
Yeah.
I thought the writing and his story that he told was unbelievable and just right up his alley. Of you obviously extremely complex characters that get even more complex as the story goes, which replicates life. Um, and just getting more demented and just more
Yeah.
like sinister towards each other.
Right.
I think there's a lot of unhealthy things in it that are portrayed in a really good way. Of it's not glorifying the unhealthiness of it, but more calling out that this is a real thing that happens. And these are real emotions that people feel. And I think that when hard emotions are shown in cinema is when cinema really hits its stride.
Yeah, for sure.
Because not a lot of people are willing to show those hard emotions.
Oh, yeah.
And Paul Thomas Anderson, I think one through line throughout all of his movies is he, in my opinion, understands humans and humanity better than any director I've ever watched.
Mhm.
Of he just knows people so
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
So he can authentically tell a personal story that has so much humanity in it,
Mhm.
for better or worse,
Oh, yeah.
so well. I think Phantom Thread is a perfect example of that,
Yeah.
of just the wrong side of humanity. But is there any good in there? What so many different things, and we could talk about each of these movies for so long. But yeah, I'd say art design and then his ability to encapsulate a human
Yeah.
is just unbelievable.
It does help when you have Daniel
It
Day-Lewis
does help when you dig into this. It does.
nominated for Best Actor
Yeah.
for that movie,
Mhm.
lost to Mr. Gary Oldman.
I did not know
That was that was
Gary
the
Oldman.
darkest hour year, yeah.
I know. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? Good for Gary Oldman. Daniel Day-Lewis has his.
Yeah, he's fine, he's another.
Yeah, he's
But that's a great fifth favorite,
yeah. That's good.
Phantom Thread.
Phantom Thread. Go check it out. Re-released it in theaters.
Alright,
Your
my
fourth pick.
fourth favorite PTA movie. I just watched this the other night. Starring Adam Sandler.
Let's go.
Punch Drunk Love.
You're not talking about it.
Yep, I figured you'd have it higher, yeah.
Yep. I love that movie.
Very fun, but that's my fourth favorite, and
Okay,
we'll talk about it when we get
we'll
to
be
your
talking about
list.
it. We're definitely not gonna be talking about this movie. I'm gonna preface this by saying I struggled with 4 and 3.
Yeah.
I would say this is his best movie. I loved it. I wanna put this at 1. I wanna put this at 2. I wanna put this at 3. But with the movies ahead of it, I just I really struggled from here on out. Number 4, I'm just gonna say, number 4 is There Will Be Blood.
That's crazy.
I know. I'm ashamed that There Will
I
Be Blood is that
get
low, but it's just looking at the 3 ahead of it, there's only one where I know that people will just flame me for. Outside of that, I just it's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah,
These
that's
movies.
fair.
But
And we
There Will
will
Be
be
Blood,
talking about that later.
Yeah,
I've got it
honestly,
higher.
it should be most people's list. It should be 1. It
Mhm.
just I fell in love with 3 other movies,
Yeah.
and me falling in love with 3 other movies made me put them higher. And I fell in love with There Will Be Blood too.
Yeah.
It's just I fell harder for 3 other ones.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Alright, well, I guess moving on to my third favorite, which I think I would be shocked if it is in your top 3 just based off your list so far. I'm going with his debut, Hard 8.
Wow. Okay, was not in my list. So
I really enjoyed
yeah,
Hard 8 a lot.
honorable mention again, but yeah.
Yeah. So I really liked Hard 8. One, I love, and we've seen this in a couple of the early PTA movies, but John C. Reilly in a dramatic role is really good.
So good. I had no idea he
I didn't know
was
he
a
could
dramatic
do that.
actor. Yeah.
I've only seen him in Funny Things.
Yeah. Mhm.
And he's great.
Amazing.
Obviously, like, long-time partner with Will Ferrell for a lot of things. But John C. Reilly in a dramatic role is just so,
Mhm.
like raw.
Mhm.
And Hard 8 is a movie specifically where you get to see, like, John C. Reilly's character, forgetting his name, but, he is just, like, at the end of the rope
Mhm.
for, like, obviously, right at the beginning of the movie, but then, like, the whole through line, of just, like, he's desperate.
Mhm.
And so this movie, if you haven't seen it, you talked about it a little bit earlier, takes place in Reno,
Mhm.
in casinos, and it's almost this like, um, oh, how do I describe this? We see this a lot of where you've got like a mentor-mentee type
Mhm.
relationship, or even like a lone wolf and a cub type
Mhm.
relationship, and we almost have that essentially set up.
Yeah.
Where was it Philip Baker?
Mhm.
Does he have a middle name? Is it Philip?
I think
Is it
so. It's Phil something
is
Baker,
it
I
Philip
think.
Sean Baker?
Sean Baker's a director,
Oh,
so that's
then
my
maybe
yeah.
one of here.
Philip Baker, though.
Yeah, Philip Baker. So like Philip Baker, like finds John C. Riley and like tries to like help him out of like basically poverty.
Mhm.
First by just giving him this casino scam, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
But even like the through line throughout the whole movie of you seeing the dependence then that John C. Reilly's character has on Philip Baker throughout the movie, the respect that he has for him. Obviously, you've got Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, you got Sam in your debut movie.
Insane.
First of
I
all,
don't understand.
yeah, it's because he's a nepo baby.
How dare you?
I mean, how else do you get Samuel L. Jackson
It's a great question. I wanna know.
after Pulp Fiction?
I want PTA in the studio talking to us, telling us how we got Samuel L.
I don't
Jackson.
know how we would have gotten Samuel L. Jackson. But even like the final, really the final third of the movie, just
Mhm.
like the first two thirds are like kind of slow,
Mhm.
but I remember watching it and just being so drawn in
Yeah.
and trying to figure out like who these characters are. Obviously, Gwyneth Paltrow and
Yeah.
her character as
Mhm.
well. But then the final third, everything like ramps up a
Mhm.
ton in
Yeah.
terms of like the desperation.
Mhm.
Obviously, just the bad choices that Gwyneth Paltrow makes, that John C.
Mhm.
Riley makes. Then the like the twists and reveal
Mhm.
about Philip Baker's like
Mhm.
character and the relationship that he has with John C. Riley. And then the final even like showdown between him and Samuel L. Jackson
Mhm.
is just like it was such a satisfying movie to me that that the resolution, was not clean,
Mhm. Yeah.
um, but it was, like, really real
Yeah.
and, like, "Oh, this actually makes a lot of sense of, like, this kinda desperation and just, um, the terrible decisions that are being made at the end of the movie just felt really real and authentic."
Mhm.
And I think that speaks to a lot of his movies where the resolution is not, like, clean
Yeah.
or real.
I think that speaks
Or it is.
also to his writing process.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the films that he directs, he writes. And he said he hates writing and has never written a movie, or a script with an end. Like, a
Yeah.
lot of people start with an end
Yeah.
and then work towards that or work backwards from that. He just finds components of something that he is interested in, starts creating characters and filling out the world, and then just makes logical decisions, in his mind, logical decisions,
Yeah.
with the characters and the story and the concepts and the themes to just arrive at an ending. And I think that explains a lot of the way his movies unfold,
Mhm.
structurally,
Yeah.
and it makes it so much better and authentic.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times endings are the most important, some of the most important, uh, some of the most important attributes to how you will walk away feeling
Mhm.
about a movie, whether it's
For
good or
sure.
bad. And a great movie can be ruined by a bad ending, and a bad movie can be made by a good ending.
Oh, absolutely.
And he just obviously is perfect all the way through.
Yeah.
But like his endings are always real and authentic,
Yeah.
and they're never forced. They're never corny or cheesy or like left you feeling empty.
They're not
Just
predictable.
no, like they just give you exactly what is right,
Yeah.
which is probably one of the most difficult things to do in writing.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's my third
Amazing
pick.
choice. I love that.
Hard 8.
I love that.
Or Sydney, if you will.
Sydney. Oh, yeah. You know what? We'll respect PTA and go Sydney there. My third pick, again, debatably his best movie, but my third favorite is probably not gonna be talking about it. Magnolia.
Yeah, what the
Yep.
I
His
got my final 2.
Yeah, his best 2 movies I absolutely adored and loved, and they were perfect. I just felt a personal love with 2 other movies
Yeah.
that should not be in my top 2, but
Uh-huh. That's
and
so fun.
I just had to be me there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
So There,
We can
but
go ahead and talk. So Magnolia would be my
my
second
second
favorite.
favorite.
So we can
Okay.
go ahead and talk about Magnolia.
Magnolia. Yep.
Phenomenal movie. Unreal.
Insane.
Can't believe it's not in your top 2.
It is insane. I loved it. Like, absolutely loved it. I think you're gonna be shocked by my second movie. It is absolutely insane. Like, story structure obviously was inspired by some things, but then inspired so many movies,
Right.
like the recent Weapons.
Weapons. Yep.
My favorite part of the movie was John C. Reilly's arc.
Oh my goodness.
He's so good. He's also my favorite PTA John C. Reilly collab.
Yeah. He's really
Um,
good.
Unbelievable. Tom Cruise, also have Tom Cruise at the height of his career and not center the story around him and convince him to hop on
Yeah.
to the project like that speaks to how amazing and brilliant PTA is.
Oh yeah.
But just it's absolute chaos the entire time, but it's also ordered the entire time.
Yes.
And it just you go through just these movies obviously need to build and carry momentum.
Mm.
PTA in this movie deals perfectly with momentum.
Yeah.
It starts off so hot.
Yes.
It also leads you to think that the story's going to be about one thing, and it's not, but also it is.
Right.
But you just go through these ebbs and flows of like adrenaline and quick shots to really long takes. And this just like, it just, I feel like when I watch Magnolia, I was just watching art.
Yeah.
And not often do you get that in like more widely respected, financially successful movies.
Yeah.
And it was just incredible.
Yeah. It's a movie that I think is one hard to describe, like the plot of.
Yeah.
Because
Can't-
it's you've got these was it like 7 or 8 different
it's
just like plot
8
lines. I think it's
full-
8.
Yeah.
Like 8 different basically main characters
Mhm.
that you're following like their plot lines, and there's like some interconnectivity in between all of them in some way. But it's not like it's not like an ensemble cast that like
Mhm.
has one main role and purpose.
Yeah.
It's not like if you think I mentioned earlier, but like Ocean's 11
Mhm.
has like, oh yeah, there's 11 main
Yeah.
people here,
Mm.
but they're all like,
Together.
and they all have their own
Yeah.
like little things, but like no, they're doing a heist.
Mhm.
But like this is like no, we've got these
All doing separate
8 separate storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Of obviously you've got like Tom Cruise, John C. Reilly, Philip Seymour Hoffman's
Yep.
character.
Mhm.
And you've got the kid on the game show.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's the I forget his name, but the guy that's in the bar, the former Kid Genius or Kid Wiz.
yes.
The-
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah.
He's so good.
The-
And also another long
Former Kid
collab.
Genius, Julianne Moore isn't
Julianne
this one
Moore,
too?
yeah.
Yeah. And so like all these things, so it's hard to describe like if you haven't seen this movie, hey, what this movie's about,
Mhm.
except for the fact, I think I don't want to like fully give away. I think we mentioned it earlier, but I want to fully give away like how it
Mhm.
ends. But the whole movie, it kind of feels like it's this, like the plot line is really this more meta or outer plot line
Mhm.
of like, hey, there is some outside force that is orchestrating all these kind of interconnected
Mhm.
events.
Yeah.
And so whether it's, how you and I would go like, oh yeah, God. But like all like that feels like that's where PTA is going in this movie to just describe that like, hey, none of these things are coincidences. Is like there is some level of an outsider divine being or force
Mhm.
that is orchestrating all the interconnectivity between all these people's stories,
Mhm.
which then culminates in obviously that final like very biblical
Mhm.
scene.
Yeah. And but it happened. But it happened.
But it happened.
But it happened. It's like my favorite thing of like going up to the painting on the wall and then it's a little script right there. But it
It
happened.
happened. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I think also one of my favorite things about the movie was how well PTA captured the complexity of humans.
Yes.
If you look at it,
Oh, yeah.
every single character that you're introduced to that you hate at the beginning of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, this is a bad person. By the end of the movie, they are the more like every character becomes complex, but they're the more sympathetic character by the end. Every character that you were sympathetic towards at the beginning of the movie,
Yeah.
you were like, oh, this is a bad person.
Yes.
And it's awesome because that shouldn't be your takeaway.
Yeah.
Your takeaway should be oh, every single one of these characters is complex. They're no we shouldn't be like, there isn't a, "Oh, we should be sympathetic towards them and think that they're a bad person." Every single one of them is very similar in the fact that they're all complex, and they all aren't just bad people. They're all just people that made severe mistakes. So actually, we're all bad. All of them are bad people, but also at the same
Right.
time have some level of sympathy.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd say some have more than others.
Yeah.
Specifically, one of the characters doesn't really have much.
Uh,
But you feel the weight of that final moment with that character.
yes.
Um, and just how he just puts on a plate and at face value, it's, oh, there's just a flip of characters, and these characters are actually sympathetic. These characters are actually bad. It's more like, no, they're all just like, they deserve our raw emotion,
Yeah.
and they all are complex, all have bad things about them. And despite their bad, we can be sympathetic.
Yes.
And showing that every character at the beginning of the movie was having a mask on.
Yeah.
And when that mask was unveiled, what did our minds do?
Yeah.
And it's just so crazy what happened there with my mind of just like,
Oh, yeah, the way that you feel that everybody changes
Yeah.
throughout the course of
yeah.
the movie.
And also just is a huge call out to how we think about people in like an everyday life situation.
Yeah.
Like, one, how complex every single person that, well, how complex you are, but how complex every person that you ever interact with is.
Yeah.
And then how do you interact with them? How do you view their story? How do you view them as a whole? It's just so fascinating, so good.
Also, the last little bit, all-time Tom Cruise performance.
All time. It was so
Insane.
Insane.
Great character.
Great character.
Loved it.
Him
I
just
took notes
staring-
during all of his seminars.
Yeah. Of course. Who wouldn't?
But yeah, him staring.
Him like at the camera when he's being interviewed to run out the clock after obviously the
tough questioning.
tough questioning.
Yeah.
I love when an actor, like part of like, I love silent films. I love when an actor doesn't say anything, but has to communicate through nonverbal cues. And he does an unbelievable, like that's that moment where he doesn't say anything. That is his character's turning point to being more sympathetic.
Yeah.
So obviously he's one of the characters that you're like, this guy is the worst character in this movie.
Oh, yeah. For
And
sure.
then you have a turn of like, oh, whoa.
Which is different also thinking about like how probably most people view Tom Cruise is we mostly view Tom Cruise in a hero role.
100%.
Obviously, you've got Ethan Hunt, Mission Impossible, A Few Good Men, Top Gun. I was like, oh yeah, Tom Cruise is just like the good guy, the hero.
Yep.
Not in this
Not
movie.
this movie. Nope. I'll say this is one of the only movies I've ever seen. We talked about this a little bit earlier before the podcast, where Tom Cruise has ever disappeared into a character for me.
Yeah.
Usually when I watch Tom Cruise, I'm watching Tom Cruise, not his character.
Yeah.
This is the only time, and credit to PTA, for helping Tom Cruise disappear into a character and me forgetting that I was watching Tom Cruise. I was just watching his character.
Yeah.
And God, it's so good. So we should have an episode, an hour long, about every single one of these movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly,
So
we
good.
could. So that's my second favorite is Magnolia.
My third, your second. So that brings us to my second. This is probably the most crazy I went with on this. Number 2, Inherent Vice.
Wow.
Yep.
Hey.
I loved this movie. I like everything about it. I thought it was one of the funniest movies I've ever watched in my life. And it not being a comedy, or like, there's a lot of like comedic aspects to it. It could be whatever you want to call it, but one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. My favorite favorite Joaquin Phoenix role ever.
Wow.
So good.
More than Eddington?
More than Eddington, more than Gladiator, more than Joker, Folie à la Deux.
More than The Village?
More than, I don't think I've seen The Village.
Oh, dude, you would love The Village. I know for a fact. Watch it tonight.
I'll watch The Village.
It's M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, okay. M. Night Shyamalan. I've seen, obviously, the top hits.
Trap.
Of course, yeah. But he's a guy that I'm a little shallow on.
Maybe we'll do an episode on M. Night.
I need to go deeper on M. Night. I do. I
You
love
would-
The Sixth Sense.
You would love The Village.
I love Signs. So good. But okay. The
Here's
Village.
the thing. You know I hate anything scary?
Yes.
Village is terrifying.
Okay.
And I love that
Good to know.
movie
I'll
so
check it out.
much.
Hi. But Inherent Vice, again, the world building and the like production design top notch. I think I saw a lot of similarities, just lighting and art design between Boogie Nights and Inherent Vice, of just kind of like the use of the retro neon vibe of the 70s and 80s. Um, it the My favorite part about it, it is a like neo-noir, like PI story,
Mhm.
and it's centered around this big mystery. But the movie at the end of the day doesn't really care about the mystery, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like it literally is like the mystery was very secondary to just the human study of
Yes.
these characters. And like what they decide to do throughout this very insane story. I also love the like hallucinatory aspect of it. Of like there were times where I was like, I'm seeing this, but I'm questioning like, is Joaquin Phoenix's character hallucinating this? Is he just like in a
Yeah.
dream state right now?
Uh-huh.
And I don't think there was a point where he was, but there were many times where I was
And he woke
questioning.
up and it was all a dream.
Yeah. I was like genuinely
The
questioning.
Wizard
I
of
was like,
Oz it, yeah.
God, so brutal. Um, and I just like the storytelling of Joaquin Phoenix's character, like that being the center focal point, with then obviously dealing with like law enforcement, dealing
Mhm.
with the business side of things,
Yeah.
dealing with the like the underworld drug use of LA and California in this time period. And then just like love when a movie drops its actual title in the movie, dropping a hero base, but then it actually being like so metaphoric
Yeah.
towards the characters
Mhm.
is so good. I just I think one of my favorite things about this movie, and I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, is because I have such a difficult time putting into words my thoughts on this movie. And I think that's part of the reason why I love it is because it made me think so much.
Yeah.
Obviously it's like a drug infused overdose of a movie, like experiencing it in the best way possible. But it just like it left me speechless and left me thinking about every single moment of the film.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the best compliments I can give of the reason why I love David Lynch so much is I love watching something and having no idea how to feel about it. And I love when a director gives this space for you to insert yourself and make your own decisions about certain circumstances. David Lynch is probably the best at ever doing that.
Mhm.
This movie is really, really, really good at doing it as well,
Yeah.
of just leaving gaps for you to insert yourself. Um, and just everything about it was amazing. Also, the different hairstyles from Joaquin Phoenix throughout was amazing too.
Uh-huh.
His different like take on characters that he tried to play throughout, like being more businessman-y, being part of management. So many things that I could just go on and on about that I loved about the movie. But Inherent Vice, my second favorite PTA movie,
That's great.
and I have no regrets.
I love it.
I wish I could put
No
There Will
dick
Be Blood in
baths.
Magnolia. Yeah, true. I wish I could put There Will Be Blood in Magnolia higher, but I couldn't.
Yeah, and one thing you hit on, I think is, again, one of the great things about Paul Thomas Anderson.
Mhm.
I had a conversation recently with someone, we were talking about movies,
Mhm.
and they said, uh you're not gonna like this at all. They said that they often get bored in movies if the plot itself isn't like moving forward. Like it was just focused on like the characters themselves. They're like, I get bored. And like just focused on like there's got to be just plot moving
God.
forward. Which I know you.
Read a book then, don't watch a movie. It's so that's got me so angry. Movies,
No, it is.
movies, what makes a movie different, what makes film different is it is a visual storytelling
Yes.
medium.
Uh-huh.
The most important thing, and I think this is where modern blockbusters get me most frustrated, is the visual aspect of the movie. Like, tell the story through visual
It's
ways.
true. Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
and like also build the character through visual ways. And like, I guess it's more of a matter of preference after that. Of like, I get like your preference is you're more plot forward.
Yeah. Not
Um,
me.
no, yeah,
Yeah, well, want to
yeah,
make that
yeah.
abundantly
Sorry.
clear.
Your friend is more plot forward. I
Oh, who said I'm friends with this person?
the person you know is more plot forward. But it's like the character studies, the intentionally slowly building moments like that, or what gets the gut wrenching moments later on. Of like
Yes.
movies that take their time and are intentional about things are the movies that have the biggest emotional reaction and residue on you.
Yeah.
Um,
But
yes.
in light of that, like if for anyone who, because I think there are plenty of people again, and it comes down to preference,
Mhm.
but plenty of people who prefer plot
Mhm.
over character.
Yep. Read a book.
Um, and PTA's movies probably aren't for that person
No, absolutely not.
that prefers plot over character, because as you mentioned, like with Inherent Vice, but I think all these films,
Yeah.
it's like the plot is not the central piece.
If you are interested in the plot and mainly the plot, you will hate There Will Be Blood, which is his masterpiece.
Yeah, I mean, you hate probably all the movies.
You'll probably hate all the movies, yeah.
Because you'll be like, "What is happening?
Yeah, in
Why is
Magnolia
nothing happening?"
yeah, in Magnolia, like, plot speaking, not much happens, and it's 3 hours,
Right, yeah.
but it's amazing.
And you see it through all of these, like, I mean, you think through Hard 8, it's like, it just feels slow,
Yeah.
but you see so much development in the
Yes.
characters.
Mhm.
Yeah, you see with Magnolia,
Yeah.
obviously, we're about to talk with about There Will Be Blood, but that was something I'd thought about just as we've been
Mhm.
talking about Paul Thomas Anderson, is that, like, specific focus on, like, man, he is just a really character-driven storyteller,
Yes.
which I know you and I both tend to really
Yes.
enjoy and
100%.
love to get to see. And so, in light of that, my
Number 4.
favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie, my top 2 are just, they're running just straight up the middle.
As they should be, honestly.
There Will Be Blood.
I'm glad one of us respected Paul Thomas Anderson enough to put his masterpieces 1 and 2.
Yeah.
There Will Be Blood, incredible.
It like is for, and I feel this way about a lot of obviously his movies, but I do remember watching this movie and like actually like taking some to think like, is this the best movie I've ever seen?
I think it might be the best movie ever created. I genuinely think it might.
Um, yeah, because you've got like a few things going for it.
Mhm.
And we've themes that we've talked about before already, but one, uh heavy character focus and
Mhm.
not as much like obviously there is a plot,
I think the plot is the character in
but
this
yes,
instance. Yeah.
for sure it is
Mhm.
central
Yeah.
on Daniel Plainview, played by Daniel Day-Lewis.
Mhm, which is maybe the greatest performance ever.
It's
It's
so good.
Mhm.
It's focused, even the first like 10 minutes of the movie, he doesn't speak.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
just
I think it's like 13 minutes or something like that of just note like the first word spoken is like 13 or 15 minutes into the movie.
yeah, and it's he's so captivating as a character. Obviously, all-time performance from Daniel Day-Lewis. He won Best Actor
Yep.
for his role here. But another great performance from Paul Dano.
Mhm.
Really good.
Yeah, like how do you go toe to toe with Daniel Day-Lewis? Now, obviously, Daniel Day-Lewis was better, but that's not throwing any shade.
My goodness, Paul Dano was good.
Insanely amazing.
Just so good. But the movie itself, I think there's a lot of just like slow, long takes, especially just on faces.
Yes.
And you get to see a Daniel Day-Lewis's face
Mhm.
for like a long time in a lot of these things. Obviously, his performance as this, like charming, swindling, like
Mhm.
oil man,
Yep.
is just
Family man.
a family man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a family man.
He's a family man.
Yeah, clearly based off his actions and the way that he treats his son.
Obviously.
Sorry, his son.
Yeah. I've abandoned my son.
And that's a scene that I'd seen many times before I even watched the movie.
Yes.
Uh,
Iconic scene.
but the milkshake scene
Oh
at the end,
my.
like the final showdown between Daniel Day-Lewis, Paul Dano, is just I think even like that scene was a great culmination at the end of the movie of
Mhm.
like, yes, this is maybe the greatest movie I've ever seen,
Mhm.
maybe the greatest performance I've ever seen, and maybe even the greatest like duo performance I've ever seen like on screen. It was that good, and it like as good as PTA's other movies are.
Mhm.
It was impossible for me to have a favorite more than There Will Be Blood.
Yeah.
If there's one
100%.
movie, if you haven't seen of any of these, that I recommend the most, it's There Will Be Blood.
It's so good. It's a like you need to see it. If you like movies, it's a movie you have to see.
Yes.
It is just yeah, main thing, I feel like you covered it very well. One of my favorite things that is in very specifically 2 movies, it's in my number 1 movie,
Mhm.
is the last line of the movie is just Daniel Day-Lewis after murdering, no spoilers, scratch that,
murdering his role.
murdering his role. Daniel Day-Lewis sitting there yelling at his butler, servant, assistant, whatever he is, "I'm finished."
Yeah.
And then the movie ends. I think it's a perfect encapsulation. Not only a lot of people say, "Oh, this is a perfect character study of America."
Yeah.
It is.
It's a very American movie.
It is the perfect encapsulation of humanity.
Yeah.
Of like, it is universal. It's not just America. It is
Mhm.
every single country in the world. And it is every single person in the world.
Yeah. If you like capitalism,
If you like capitalism, you'll hate this movie.
I was gonna say, or maybe you'll like
Or
it.
maybe you'll love it, but you'll
In the same way, if you hate capitalism,
you'll love this movie.
or maybe you'll hate it.
Or maybe you'll hate it. I think, yeah, it's fair. So I feel like there is a way that you watch this movie, and if you love capitalism, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because then you're probably rooting for
Yeah.
Daniel Plainview.
Which, good for you, I guess.
Sure.
You do you.
And if you hate capitalism, you're probably not rooting for Daniel Plainview.
Yeah, but you're still going to be like, wow, I love Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, that's true.
But I love that.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Favorite PTA movie.
Maybe best movie of all time. Wouldn't argue with the claim that it's the best movie since the year 2000.
Yeah.
It's a perfect movie, like all his other movies, I would say.
All right, let's get to your favorite movie. I had a feeling it should be it, the way you talked about it.
It was the first PTA. It holds a special place in my heart. My first PTA movie I ever saw. It is Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
I know it's not the best PTA movie. There are a few things that contribute to this. One, as PTA as a person, I view this similarly to one of my favorite artists, like musical artists. PTA followed Magnolia, a smash hit, debatably his best movie ever. Obviously, There Will Be Blood is also up there, but typically There Will Be Blood and Magnolia are 1 and 2 for everyone. But he followed that up with Punch Drunk Love. The balls on that guy, man. Insane. Of like, people's expectations are now sky high.
Oh, yeah.
And you followed up with this movie, people were probably so mad in 2002. They're like, this guy fell off. He was like a one-hit wonder.
Right.
Like, he didn't even try to replicate Magnolia because he knew he couldn't. Not true. But like, that's probably what people were saying because of the style of movie that he wanted to tell.
Mm-hmm.
I think Punch Drunk Love is the greatest like romance rom-com dram ever made.
Wow.
It tells the perfect story of a human in love and what love is capable of doing. I love me some pessimism in my movies. This is in my opinion, one of the most optimistic movies of humans.
Mm-hmm.
And like the power of love and what it can do remind me a lot of like how Interstellar uses love.
Yeah.
Of like, love can conquer all, love can do anything.
Oh, yeah.
And love is our superpower.
Yeah.
And it's crazy getting that from not Daniel Taylor, from Paul Thomas Anderson, because you wouldn't think.
And from Adam Sandler.
And from fact that one, respect, PTA, I love Adam Sandler, but getting this performance out of Adam Sandler is insane. Proves that Adam Sandler is capable of so much, and also proves that Paul Thomas Anderson.
Maybe we'll do an Adam
director.
Sandler
I
episode.
would love that. I'll have the same number one. But Punch Drunk, it is amazing. Following up Magnolia, I think is comparable to David Bowie when he released Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. What many people say is his best album ever.
Mm-hmm.
Sky high expectations for the next album. He released, and also David Bowie, if you don't know, one of the greatest musicians ever. He almost never duplicated himself.
Yeah.
He always was switching up the genre he would play.
Mm-hmm.
He was always switching up the stylistic singing he would perform. He was always changing things. But Ziggy Stardust was early in his career, and he followed up with Aladdin Sane, which is a crazy shift in what people were expecting, and something completely different than what people were expecting. And a lot of people were disappointed in what they got, not realizing that they had another masterpiece in their hands, but their expectations were too far in the way. And I think that's what happened here with Punch Drunk Love. It is a romantic masterpiece.
Yeah.
It is amazing. It is perfect. I love this movie. And I love, one of the main things I love about this movie is the fact that it was Paul Thomas Anderson, as a person, his choice was follow Magnolia up with Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
It has almost no similarities to Magnolia.
Yeah.
Like, structurally, pretty straightforward. Like,
pretty straightforward. Pretty
linear.
One central character,
like,
a very
follows Adam
Egan.
Sandler. Like, very much kind of like as much as down the middle as you can get for Paul Thomas Anderson, but just his ability to just have no regrets, have no second thoughts, and just go after what he thought was the right choice to pursue for his next creative project was amazing. And then what it turned out to be was a just like floating positive message of what love is capable of.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's amazing. The one scene I'll call out, two scenes, the silhouette scene with them under the arch, incredible.
Yep.
My personal favorite scene is when he first gets to why he's on the phone in the telephone booth with the parade going around him. And as soon as like the light goes on above him, as soon as he starts going, is just so like he toes the line so much in this movie of like corny and authentic and perfect and just real. And because it's so authentic and real, it isn't corny or cheesy. And it just works flawlessly and perfectly.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite, I have so many favorite things in this movie. Another one is him, Adam Sandler, wearing the suit, and every single person in the movie.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
why are
What are you in the suit for?
it's like, it's so, I felt that in my gut of so often we try to recreate ourselves and try to do something new. And because the people around us, they're not trying to bring us down. They might be, but they might not be. But that reception of, hey, don't change. You're you. I know you. Don't be someone else. Don't try to be someone else that you're not.
Yeah.
When you might not feel like you are you as you currently are.
Yeah.
Or like the inability to change in this world, like represented through that suit is incredible. Like the creative freedom that he's chasing through the piano and like also being afraid to admit that he took it from the street.
Right.
It was dropped off. It was for anybody to take.
Yeah.
But he's petrified of that. The sisters and smashing the window.
Yeah.
Insane. Him smashed up the bathroom. Oh my
The
God.
bathroom is awesome.
Insane. And then the waiter
I didn't do
coming,
that.
and then Adam Sandler's reaction to it. It's perfect. It's like, this was the first movie I saw.
Our hands bleeding. Cut myself earlier.
This is the first PTA movie I saw. And when I saw it, I thought to myself, this may not be my favorite movie, but it is probably the best movie I've ever seen. And it has slowly become one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And it is still one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's that.
That's a great, it is a great choice. It's a great movie. And I think it's I think a really cool thing. I think when we think of just about art in general, which you've just mentioned of like, one challenge that even like we get to see, and you and I have talked about it a decent bit, is the fact that like movies today, especially like, are not just art; it's business.
Yes.
And in business, when you have something that works and is well received by customers, the goal is great. How do we replicate and scale that?
Yep.
Whereas for art, that's not what art is about.
No, it's individual expression.
Yes.
And it's so hard to mix individual expression and real art with film nowadays.
Yes.
And I think very few people do it, right? Or do it well. And I think that all just has to do with how talented they are.
Yeah.
And just like most times, the world has very few people that are that talented enough specifically in an art to give us that. And I'm thankful for Paul Thomas Anderson because he is that.
Yeah. He
perfectly
doesn't care about the like, hey, is this going to be well received?
No. And like, it's just amazing that it is.
Yeah.
Because what he feels and what comes out of him is so universal and authentic.
Yeah. And so can't wait for his 10th film.
10th film.
One battle after another.
Lucky number 10.
Come on, lucky number 10.
Double digits, baby.
Comes out end of this month. I'm so upset that I'm seeing it early.
I know.
And you can't.
I know. I'm very upset.
Me and my buddy Jacob are gonna go see it at the 70mm at the Plaza, which should be exciting. So sorry you're gonna miss it.
I know. I'm also probably gonna still try to go to a 70mm showing just the day after on Thursday.
If they have it.
I know. I think
good luck.
The Mall of Georgia might.
We'll see. We'll find out. But for you guys that are listening, hope that was fun. If you are familiar with PTA, hope that was just fun. If you aren't familiar with PTA, hope that was informative.
Yeah.
And I hope you're inspired to go watch One Battle After Another in theaters.
Yes.
But also go watch all of his old movies.
You will not
all of them. They're all worth
not
watching.
miss.
And don't watch them on a little airplane TV screen.
Watch them on the biggest screen you have. Also, one thing we didn't mention enough is his music in movies. Watch it as loud as you can.
Yeah.
His music is perfect.
It's so great. Tune in the beginning of next month, so October. We'll be talking about the movies that are coming out
October 1st, during Spooky Month.
during Spooky Month.
My
That's
favorite
right.
of the year.
And we've got some spooky movies
Spooky movies.
that are coming out, like Freaky or Fright. I'm just kidding. But should be great to continue to talk about movies. And hey, go to the movies.
Go to the movies. And as always,
Long live the theatrical release.
see you next time.
See ya.